like DD gills, German crew making it true. Force feedback flow right through you. 5 Newton meter, 8 Newton meter, 20 Newton meter, 2, 5 Newton meter force, Newton meter force. Smooth to the touch, feel so much, make your lady reach for the clutch. Hit that gear, can't reverse, lost in the sim racing universe. Set your dampening, make her squeal, holds on hard to the steering wheel. Too much power in your hands, belt drive, peasants understand. Dropping MDDs, dropping MDDs, Fanatec, be dropping MDDs, 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 big DDs, small DDs, short DDs, long DDs, big DDs, small DDs, short DDs, long DDs.
The Fanatec CSLDD is Fanatec's latest direct drive wheel, and a direct drive wheel aimed to attack directly at the market of belt-driven wheels. With a price point of €349.95 for the base alone, it already effectively DD power slams the CSL Elite and the Clubsport wheelbases out of existence. Through the course of this video, and thanks to Fanatec sending me both a CSL DD and the new CSL pedals, we're going to be finding out whether or not we are about to bear witness to a belt-driven wheel genocide. Taking this CSLDD out of its box, and it's apparent that it's pretty damn small, which is quite impressive when you consider that the wheelbase itself not only contains everything needed to make the base operate, but additionally has a hub that allows you to plug your Fanatec pedals, shifters and handbrakes into the wheelbase directly. The only thing separate to the wheelbase is of course the power pack, with you able to choose between the low power pack, which gets 5 Newton meters out of the DD wheel, or the high power pack, which allows you to get 8 Newton meters. Thankfully, Fanatec sent me both the low power pack and the high power pack, so I'll be talking about the power pack's power, outputs and differences later in this video. A really nice aspect of direct drive wheels is that because they are just a motor with a shaft, they don't have things that clatter and bang together, which makes them pretty quiet, if not silent. And when it comes to the CSLDD, given that it has no fan and is passively cooled, it's pretty much as quiet can be. As the famous saying goes, no one can hear a DD in space. Another advantage of it being a DD wheel and using a slip ring to send information from the wheelbase to your steering wheel is that it technically has no limit to the amount of rotation possible. Because of this, if you like to play the relaxation, then die of old age trying to park simulator, Euro Truck Sim, then this wheel will fully support your 16 billion degrees of rotation that allow for a realistic experience. As you'd expect, it uses Fanatec's quick release system that makes it compatible with all Fanatec wheels, allowing for all those glowing LEDs and beautiful displays and everything to operate without you having to plug in separate cables. Rather interesting and quite unique is the CSLDD's T-nut rail system that's used for the mounting holes, allowing you to have a lot more versatility in how you can mount the wheel to a sim rig or a wheel stand. Now, if you don't have a sim rig or a wheel stand, Fanatec will be selling a separate table clamp for the CSLDD, allowing you to use the DD on your desk, which given its price point, I imagine would be a good few number of people. In terms of design and materials, the CSLDD is small but incredibly chunky, weighing in at around 6.5 kilograms and mostly being constructed of metal, apart from the front and back plate, which are plastic. With its minimal design, in my mind, it somewhat resembles the appearance of that of Thor's hammer, though without a handle, so it wouldn't be a very good hammer. I mean, it could rotate quickly, but it wouldn't be a good hammer. Finally, unlike older Fanatec wheelbases, it doesn't have any LED rev lights on the front of it. It does, however, have the same mounting holes that the other Fanatec DDs have, allowing you to use custom displays, dashboards, or anything designed to fit into those holes. All that is good and well, but at the end of the day, all that matters is what is it actually like to use with the driving simulators. To answer that question as thoroughly as possible, we both use the CSLDD with the table clamp on a desk, as I feel a lot of people will at least initially be using the wheel that way, and then we migrated the CSLDD over to the SimLab P1X T-slot monster rig. Starting with the wheel on the desk with the clamp, And I have to say, it was really nice just having a wheel on the desk. It's just super convenient having something that's there you can slide across and get going with your driving simulators straight away. Now I say slide across because what I found after using this for a few days was that rather than taking it off the desk and putting it on the floor like I would with a Logitech G25 for example, for me it was much more convenient to just move it to the side, leaving it on the desk and then moving it back again when I actually wanted to drive. You could leave it under the desk like other wheels, but bear in mind it is a DD wheel and weighs over 6 kilograms, so if you're weak, pathetic and exercise adverse like a proper sim racer, you might just want to leave it on the desk. Before we move on from riveting clamp talk, I will say the angle that the table clamp points a wheel at is really nice. However, the wheel does end up being quite a bit higher than other table mounted wheels that I've used. So if you're quite short or you don't have a particularly adjustable table or office chair, you might find it's a bit out of reach. The most important part though when using the table clamp is how solid it is when using the low power supply or the high power supply, and I would say it does a good job of holding the wheel to the table, though if you push up and down on the wheel you will notice that there is a bit of movement there. I didn't find any of this movement affecting my driving, but of course you will lose out on that super fine and weirdly solid feeling you get when you hard mount any force feedback wheel to a completely firm and turgid sim rig. When it comes to the actual feel of the force feedback generated by the CSLDD, when using the low power pack, the first thought that came to my mind was that it was like a hyper smooth and slightly more detailed CSL Elite wheelbase. The most notable difference being that the CSLDD wheel will move almost completely freely with near to no mechanical damping built into the wheelbase itself. This gives the end user more freedom to set the dampener, interpolation and other settings up to their taste, rather than being locked into a specific type of feel that the wheelbase itself is producing. In the low power mode you can feel all those little track details, suspension compressions and quite a bit of range for the actual loading of the tyres, helping you drive the car nicely at the limit, especially in a game like Asseto Corsa that has absolutely fantastic force feedback. I will say though, despite the low power pack being more than adequate and better than any other belt driven wheel bar maybe the Clubsport 2.5 wheelbase, it's unlikely to fully tickle the DD girl's fancy if you know what I mean. The high power pack with the CSLDD is another story. Obviously you still have the same innate mechanics as you have with the low power pack, however it really does utterly transform the wheel, with you getting better response, better strength and just much more detail from the simulator. Crucially, from a simulator experience, immersion and realism standpoint, the high power pack allows you to really feel what the car's doing and have the car almost drive itself a bit, and then you work with that. Whereas with the low power pack, much as is the case with the lower end wheels on the market, you're often driving over the top of the car rather than with the car. To be clear, when it comes to maximum strength we are still dealing with 8 Newton meters, which is quite a far bit off the 15 to 20 plus Newton meters that you get with the more powerful direct drive wheels on the market. So for someone looking for a super duper raw red in the middle sim racing experience with broken wrists, you're not going to get that from this wheel even with the high power pack. But someone looking for a really good value, super detailed and incredibly immersive sim racing experience would probably be very happy with this wheelbase. Basically, you can see it as a replacement for the Fanatec CSL Elite and the Fanatec Clubsport wheelbase 2.5, but all in a singular wheelbase, with you only needing to upgrade the power supply should you want to move from one to the other. And of course, in both those cases, it comes with the advantage of getting most of the features that you would typically only find in the very high end and much more expensive direct drive wheels. So this is indeed the end of belt driven wheels, at least in Fanatec's case, with this very much being a replacement for the CSL Elite and the Fanatec Clubsport wheelbase 2.5, all in a single wheel, depending on which power supply that you go for. Now, with that in mind, I would definitely recommend that if you do get one of these, that you get it with the high power supply. The difference between the 5 Nm and 8 Nm is absolutely humongous, and you know, it really just transforms the experience. You get something way closer to what you would get with the much more expensive high-end premium DD wheels with that high power supply than you do with the low power supply. Now, it's pretty obvious to see what Fanatec have done using the different power supplies to have different price versions of the same wheelbase, and that is have a version of the CSLDD that could be sold to a much wider price-sensitive audience. The type of people that probably would have got a CSL Elite for their games console, for example, or people that would have literally just got a CSL Elite and then maybe they would have upgraded, but it would have meant another wheel, they can't be bothered. But in the case of this, in the future they could upgrade to get basically a Clubsport wheelbase just by buying a new power supply. So, you know, they're luring people in to the Fanatec ecosystem. Little do people know that sim racing gets worse the more you do it. That's not even a lie. You spend more money, you buy more equipment, you waste more time, and you get hypercritical of things that are not important to life whatsoever. Just stay away from sim racing, it's bad for you. All said and done, and keeping in mind what I have here is a preview unit. We will have review units of the final CSLDD when they roll out to all the YouTubers. All said and done, I think it's absolutely fantastic. Not just this wheel in and of itself and the fact that it's making DDs cheaper, but I think the only response from Thrustmaster and Logitech will have to be themselves to either make DD wheels or for them to lower the prices of their current equipment, which means even more people can ruin their lives with sim racing, which is fantastic. So, yes, I mean, hopefully I covered all the main points that you wanted to know about in this video. Of course, if I didn't, let me know in the comment section. I'll try and answer them as quickly as possible. Also, if you are buying Fanatec equipment from the Fanatec store, remember I do have a Fanatec affiliate link in the description under the video, and if you buy with that, I get money, which supports my sim racing rap career, so I really appreciate that. And yes, that is pretty much it for this one. Thank you for watching, happy tea drinking, and goodbye everybody.
Dropping them DD servo wheels, firing at you like DD gills. German crew, making it true, 4-speed backflow right through you. 5 Nm, 8 Nm, 20 Nm, 2, 5 Newton-meter force, Newton-meter force. Smooth to the touch, feel so much, make your lady reach for the clutch. Hit that gear, can't reverse, lost in the sim racing universe. Set your dampening, make her squeal, holds on hard to the steering wheel.